down from the east. From 1818 to 1829, everything that went down the canal went one way. It was busted up and reused to repurpose other towns and to be used for things at the shipping yards. Then after 1829, that became two-way traffic. You can go up and down on the canal. And then operated that way up until 1933. And then by 33, the canal dried up, the railroads came in, and it took over.
So is that a river or is that a canal out there?
That's a river. Canal's
is
right
that
next
the Delaware River?
That's the Lehigh River.
Lehigh River.
When you hear the name Poconos, Poconos is an Indian word interpreted as mountains between two streams. The two streams they're talking about are the Lehigh River and the Delaware River. That's what we bought from the Native Americans in the walking purchase in 1737. Everything from the port of Philadelphia to the top of the mountain behind us is as far as a man could walk in a day and a half. That's the land we purchased.
That's why they call it the walking purchase.
The walking purchase. Exactly.
What's your name, sir?
Eric Bloom.
Eric Bloom.
Yes.
And your family's been connected to the Asa
My father
Packer?
worked at Lehigh for 35 years. I worked at Lehigh for a period of 11 years. Yep. And now I'm here doing
I
tours.
understand we're not allowed to do videos inside the facility.
Only for the specifics of the things in there can't be replaced, and light and photography deteriorate them over time. So they're trying to preserve everything in the house as long as they can. It's been there for 163 years.
Now, you were telling me earlier about air conditioning. That wasn't that common in 1861, was it?
That was not. America doesn't get air conditioning in their home until 1960 or later.
Because of Freon being in
Because of Freon and just because of the ability to have the system put in.
So in 1861, how did they get the air cool?
That big red roof building back there?
Yeah.
That's the ice house. That gets packed full of 100-pound blocks of ice. It's packed in sawdust. It starts in April and it'll last you till September or October. Really? When they constructed that ice house, they took 4 huge pipes, ran them from the bottom of the ice house underneath the cart path into the basement of this home. Those get filled with ice in the summertime. There's a board in front of all 4 pipes, which keep them cold. While you go through the house, you close see that back window there? It has shutters on it.
I see it.
Every window in this house has shutters like that. On the hot days in summer, you go and you close all of the first floor, all of the second floor, go to the third floor, open your shutters and open your window
to let the heat
down. You take the board out of the 4 pipes. It lets the cold air come into the house, filling the house with cold air, forcing hot air up and out the third floor windows. Therefore, in 1861, you have air conditioning.
That's amazing.
Simple concept.
They do a similar thing in Europe where it's cooler anyway. They close the shutters during the day to keep the heat out and open them at night to let the cooler air in.
A lot of people think shutters is an aesthetics thing. When you think of shutters, shutters were originally put on your windows to protect you from Indian attacks, from bows and arrows and rocks and flaming things that they would throw through your windows. People look at them today, oh, that's pretty, let's have shutters on our house. They were designed with an intention. There was a purpose behind why they were put on windows. It was also to help keep the cold air out in the wintertime because the glass was very thin pane glass.
What other innovations do they have in this home?
You have push button lighting, which operates on a gas-leer system. It's a gas system. From 1861 to 1893, you wanted a light on, you press the main button to gasify the system, and then each light has its own little 2-button control. Top button, you press it, a flint is struck, the gas is ignited, you have light in your room.
In each little light thing, there was a
there
flint.
Was a gas fixture and a flint. And then when you were done, you just press the other button. It would snuff out the flame, and you may now go about your business.
And you said earlier there was a way they communicated with the staff. How'd they do that?
It's called a whistle stop. It's a little mouthpiece about that big, and there's a flap in that mouthpiece. It has a diaphragm in it. You whistle into that diaphragm, it makes a sound in the kitchen. I know you're calling me. I open the flap and I speak to you. You give me what you want. You want a glass of milk? I say, yes, Mr. Packer. I close the flap.
So you're speaking through a little tube.
Yeah.
And you blow it to signal them that you want them.
And that tube goes from the kitchen all the way to the other side of the house to the second floor to his bedroom. There's only 4 mouthpieces in the house.
Was it a flexible tube or what was it made of?
Metal tube.
A metal tube.
It runs directly across the house in the walls. Somebody was thinking.
Amazing.
And when they put the stove in, they cut the stove off. They cut the legs off the bottom of the stove for 2 reasons. You cook with cast iron. Well, cast iron is very heavy. I'd rather lift it from this height than to lift it from this height.
Absolutely.
So they cut it close to the floor. They also took the legs off because of the ash. Normally you would pull the ash out and dump it into a bucket in your kitchen. Well, now your food gets contaminated. So when you have crunchy food at dinner time, you know why. They cut the legs off and put a flue directly through the floor. So when you shake the grate, all your ash falls through the floor down into the basement to a catchment system, and you have no ash in your kitchen. Simple things like that.
Did Asa do this himself? Did he do the designs?
No, it was designed by an architect named Samuel Sloan, and it was built from 1859 to 1861.
Was Samuel Sloan the person who designed the air conditioning and the grating? That's like a laundry chute for ashes.
Yeah, exactly what it is. There's a drip hose. They have a John Wanamaker no drip ice box in the kitchen. You put a 50-pound block of ice in there. As that ice melts, it drips to a pan, which has a hole in it and goes to a tube, which runs down through the floor to the basement, and the ice drips down into the basement. You have no contamination in your kitchen. No water removed from your kitchen. It all goes downstairs.
And they thought of this in 1859.
1861.
Was that designed by the architect?
Yes,
he did that. That is absolutely amazing.
It's amazing. When you look at the things that are in this home that they incorporated at the time of its construction, it blows you away. Because there's simple features, but America won't have them in their home until 1940 or later. Absolutely. Air conditioning is a prime example. This is 100 years ahead of the nation.
Right.
They have air conditioning in 1861. Most of America don't get it in their home until 1960 or later.
That's right.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
I think Freon came out at the World's Fair in 1938.
Yep, it came out at the beginning of World War II.
Right.
Right. So you're looking at the end of the 30s. That's, quite a few.
And even the telephones didn't come out until the late
1902. They have an intercom system because the electricity came online.
Right.
In 1902, they put electric system in, which allowed them to put intercom system in. When you stand in that kitchen, there are 3 types of communication devices. It spans 40 years. You have the whistle stop. You have a doorbell system, which came home in 1876 from the Philadelphia Expose. And then you have the house intercom system, which was put in 1902. That's 40 years. 3 pieces of technology. You can see where you've been and you can see where you're going. Today, we walk around with this in our pocket. This has 10 times more computing power than it took to send a man to the moon in 1969. 3/4 of us don't know how to use it. If it doesn't scare you, it should, because where are we going after this?
Something probably in our glasses.
We're going to be the Jetsons. We're going to have hover cars soon. The way it's going to be.
By the way, I'd like to thank you for giving me this video, and it will be on YouTube. I'd like to give you my card.
Sure.
It has the name of my channel on it.
That'd be awesome.
And
I appreciate that.
I may put this on quickly.
Brings more people here.
It will bring more people here.
It generates more interest.
That's exactly what I tell them. That's what I tell the guides. So
this is a national treasure. This
surely
to
I'll give you a card as well. Yeah.
It's not just the town of Jim Thorpe. Even though it's owned by the borough, this is a national historical landmark. This is everybody's enjoyment.
Absolutely.
Anybody who comes from California, Washington, wherever, this is yours.
What can you tell us what notable people you've had here?
Through my time here, I haven't really had any notable people other than the mayors of Jim Thorpe. I've had 2 of the mayors and 3 of the former mayors come and do tours. And the borough council has come. I mean, dignitary-wise, I haven't been on any tours lucky enough to have a dignitary on it, but I'd love
Movie stars?
Movie stars? Nope.
Not yet.
Talking about movie stars and famous people, that building right up there on the top of that mountain?
Yes.
It's called the Ballroom at the top of the world. When you think of big band era music in America, Glenn Miller, the Mills Brothers, Tommy Dorsey, Frank Sinatra, they all performed right up there at that building. That's where Tommy Dorsey got his start.
I didn't know that.
He's 3 miles from here. He lived in Nesquehoning.
And you could walk from your house to the ballroom if you wanted to.
My grandmother used to sneak my grandfather's car out when they bought the first Model T. She used to sneak the car out of the garage and come down and go over and watch the bands at Flagstaff. Oh, yeah.
And I have your permission to use this video.
Yes, sir, you
That's excellent. And thank you very much, by the way. I'm very grateful.
People come here to want to learn something. And if I can be a person that can help you understand and interpret what you're seeing and have a better understanding of it when you leave, I did my job.
You have a great knowledge of history and a great knowledge of the house.
I'm proud of it. I get to share it with the public.
I can tell.
To me, it's awesome.
That
I get to tell a story.
I can tell you like your job.
I do. I love it. It's the best job I ever had.
And you go next door for drinks when you're
I
out,
do.
right?
And I got a nice staff over there that entertains me and takes care of me. They send me customers. I send them customers. It's a perfect relationship.
And what's your first name again?
Eric.
Eric. Nice talking to you, Eric.
Nice
to Take care.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day. Well, Gary's Tour fans, if you like that video, subscribe and like. We're leaving the Harry Packer home. And this, he told me also, he didn't share it on the live video, but this was the inspiration for the haunted house at Walt Disney World and Walt Disneyland. They came here, studied this place, and this is where they got the inspiration for the haunted house.
1928, Walt Disney and the privateers came here and were so enamored with the design of this house that they incorporated in Walt Disney World. When they built it, this is the haunted house in Walt Disney World.
In 1928, they came here and saw this.
1928.
Amazing. Thank you, Eric. Amazing. And you can hear in the background the train. We're going to be taking a train ride in another video that you'll see. And thank you for watching this video. And if you like the video, please subscribe. Thank you.